I have very limited time with you. And being that we believe in empowering people, especially leaders to empower others, what I want to do is talk a little bit to you about why CEOs are trained in these tools. I want to speak to you a little bit about why top ministers, prime ministers, US presidents, captains of industry, am I getting your attention yet, are all trained in these tools, and for years they were hoarded. So one of the things we wanted to do about legacy is we wanted to bring these tools here to Canada, because I had to go out to California and Las Vegas, and like Jerry said earlier, oh, in the summer Las Vegas is not a place you want to be. It's 42 degrees. The wind is like Satan's breath. It's so hot it just melts you on the spot. And this really has been a journey for us. And so while, yes, we do have many, many programs about empowerment, we wanted to basically tell you why you should care. You've got 7 seconds. 7 seconds for someone to determine who's never met you whether you are competent, whether you are trustworthy, whether they will negotiate from you, whether they will buy from you. Did you know that? 7 seconds. And so most of us miss it. I keynote all over Kingdom Come about this. And what we want to do is really wrap our hands around this so people can hear how easy this is, and we can see how easy this is to weave a tapestry together. 7 seconds. And one of the things that this is essential for is I'm here to tell you, stop the insanity of the previous selling. Stop it. Because we used to be in a world that did business that was based on communication. That's not the case, hasn't been the case in a long time. In order to do business effectively, and especially to do business as a leader or be perceived of as an expert, you need to be able to use the language of connection. Connection is going to give you trust. Connection is going to give you passion. Connection is going to give you relationship. And without those things, you don't have anything to do business with. And we love this synergy that goes round and round. We want our graduates go to James for their business planning, and we want them going to Jerry for their marketing, and their folks come to us to learn how to connect in 1 week. In 1 week. So let's talk about that 7 seconds. How many of you are meeting someone else and you're going, hi, how are ya? And your head's going, I got to pick up milk. Got to get the kids. Still haven't resolved that argument with my husband or my wife. And what happens, and you may not know this until now, raise your hand if you've ever met someone and they said all the right things, but you didn't trust them anyway. Okay, right. So you guys are very familiar with this. How does that happen, and how do you avoid it every time, consciously and volitionally? See, that's really the key here. Even people that are super charismatic often don't know consciously and volitionally how they're doing what they're doing. When your head inside of you and your body language don't match, you are perceived of as a liar and as a smarmy, slimy salesperson. In the language of connection, I think everyone can agree that we want to avoid that. So you need to begin to wrap your hands around how easy, and it's really fun to do because it's hands-on. So I want to be clear. Neuro-linguistic programming is how to use the mind, where it connects with the body, to actually change those programs inside of you. It's how, as humans, we do what we do when we do a behavior. So one of the things that Jerry spoke about earlier is we all know that voice, the voice from our programming from way back, that voice that says you can't, you're going to fail, you shouldn't. Even when we know it's not true, that voice can be changed because that's what we do. So I'm going to ask you, who could you be if you didn't have the voices in your head telling you that you were anything other than magnificent? Right on. Exactly. That's what this is about. This is about taking it to the next level. So 55% of your communication is body language, 38% of it is tone of voice, and the 7% are words. Only 7% are words. Now that means there are very important 7 words, but it also means that your words and your body language had better match. And if you're wondering why, who would like to be able to easily access 40 to 60% more of the potential leads and contacts in their field? Raise your hand. Because if you didn't raise your hand, you're silly now. Why are you here? Okay. The reason that within an average week, the non-sales people wind up attracting approximately 30% of an increase in clientele and sales after 1 week is because 40% of the population's visual. 40% of the population's kinesthetic, meaning they're hands-on. They want to have meetings. They want to do hugs. The kinesthetic people, their vibe on you is actually more important than whatever product you've got. 20% of the population's auditory, and 20% of that 20% approximately is auditory digital. So listen, listen, listen. Here's the thing. You only speak in your own language. And you have to be able to put your message in their model of the world. We're here for service. So it doesn't really matter what you are. The question is, can you rotate through all of them so they can wrap their hands around what you're doing, so they can hear you, so they can get it? Does that make sense? Out loud? Yes. Okay. That's really important. One more time. So it makes sense? Yes. All right. There we are. So you want to be able to instantly put your message in, and you've got less than 7 seconds. So what that's going to do immediately for you is it's going to allow you to connect deeply. Who here would like to encourage people to do better conflict resolution? Raise your hand. Good. One more time. Who here wants to do more service with what they're doing? Because that's why we get out of bed in the morning. Who here wants to make an impact and a difference with what they do as an expert? Right. And I believe the population needs you. All of you. And one of the fastest ways for you to flip into accessing more of them is understanding, well, how to access more of them. So these are just a few slides off of our professional program. So on average, putting your message in their language gives a 28% increase in sales in 1 week in a tax-deductible format that actually gives you 4 professional designations along the way. Now that's important because any Yahoo can say certified. You guys get that? If you're going to go through this and make an investment in yourself, board certified means letters after your name in an internationally transformable format. And that is marketing and leverage positioning, because what has Jerry been speaking about all morning? Positioning yourself as an expert.